And we're recording. Hi, Dana.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Lovely.
Lovely. Thank you for joining me today because we're going to be talking about some of your biggest takeaways from level one. What was the most impactful? Some of those different things. So, like, if you reflect back, you've now taken level one and two, right? Just this spring.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you were going to look back on like all of the classes that you did from elements to Mercury to North Node to Saturn in level one, what was the one with the biggest aha for you?
The elements in conjunction with permission slips.
Okay, tell me more.
Because I have 6 planets in Libra. Okay. I
Nice.
am supposed to be the most Libra to ever Libra. I'm born in the middle of Libra. Okay. I have half of my Libra planets are in the 7th house. So, I mean, I'm just vomiting Libra. And from when I was young, because I've been addicted to astrology for like forever, like my little old like 1970s copy of Linda Goodman's sun signs for back in the day and
Yeah.
love signs, and I'm like, this doesn't describe me. And I'm like, what's going on here? Because I'm supposed to be, I mean, you're supposed to be able to like look me up in the dictionary, and I'm supposed to be the Libra because I've got all these signs, and it was never me.
Right.
And my biggest takeaway was when Milena, I had her for level 1 and 2, and I stalk her now, don't tell anyone. That when she looked at my chart and said, no, you have Uranus hugging your sun. You have Mars hugging your sun. You have Pluto next to your sun. So no, you're an Aquarius. You have 4 planets in the 8th house that's ruled by Scorpio. No, you're a Scorpio Aquarius. You're not,
Right.
I mean, so basically what I tell myself now is I'm like this creepy person that went out and like skinned a nice Libra, and I wear her skin.
Okay, so that's all Libra. You're hilarious. That is all air. So
There is some that indecisive and not feeling my emotions, talking them, but not just all that. That so much resonated with me that it gave me permission to be who I really am.
right.
Because this was so much stuff that I had like tamped down for so long, and I'm like, why am I this unfrosted weirdo? Why do I love this creepy shit?
Scorpio stuff.
Yeah. Why am I like this? Because that's not what Libra is supposed to be. I'm supposed to be going to parties.
Right.
You know?
Right. And being super social and being out there. But obviously, clearly you love beauty and you love color and you love some of those Libra things. So some of those resonated for you.
Well, like I said, if you can see from this red, this stands out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's not Scorpio, that's for sure.
No, this is Aquarius. So,
yes, it is.
So just that permission to say that it was okay.
Yeah.
That that I am a weirdo. Not that I wasn't a weirdo, that I am a weirdo, and that it's okay because that's what my chart says. The chart says,
right,
you're a weirdo, but it's okay that you're a weirdo.
Right. Because you discovered that, yes, you're a Libra sun, and then you also discovered that it was in which house, because that matters too,
That's
right?
in the 8th house. Oh, yeah.
It's in the 8th house, right? So we always say that, the house your sun is in also colors the whole part of the chart. So you're right. So you are this Libra, which is a 7th house flavor, but it's in the 8th house. And so, yeah, that's a really big deal. So that must have been huge for you to have that, like, okay, now exactly. And then, like you said, that permission of like, okay, now I know I was always weird, but it kind of made me, you had like this push-pull energy with it. And now it's just a pull energy. You're just like, it's a go.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was just, honestly, it was validation.
Yeah.
For me,
yes.
that I hadn't made a mistake my whole life, that I'm like, what is wrong with me?
Right.
Why don't I feel my emotions? All that stupid air. So, writing them down and actually going back and looking at them, things like that. Why do you either love me or hate me? Because the Mars is right there on my sun. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of why I'm kind of a jerk, but in a
Bold,
nice
blunt,
way.
and brassy, baby. So yeah, it's so interesting. So look at that. Like you are one of the typical students that we talk about. Linda, if we had $1 for every Linda Goodman, everybody has a Linda Goodman sun signs book. It's so great. But the bottom line is you're so right that the sun sign, it can be, as soon as you have other planets surrounding your sun sign, you're not just your sun sign. So that is so true. So yeah, so that permission was so big. I can totally imagine that. And I imagine that this, because of the area you do have in your chart, that this was a really great way for you to learn with all the videos and with the Rizuku comments and the mentoring. So tell me a little bit about like the flavors of the class and how it's laid out and how that worked for you.
Well, it was really enjoyable because we do have a couple hours with a mentor, which of course I don't want to talk. I just want to sit there and stare at other people talk because that's Scorpio. But just being able to kind of go at your own pace, but still having the information all laid out there for you, having all the stuff from Debra, who is a hoot. How do you get anything done? But anyway, but just it really is a great format and a great layout to, okay, here, this is the stuff we're going to talk about. We're all adults here taking this class, so either if you do the work, you're gonna get into it, or you're gonna get out of it what you put into it.
Right.
So
Right.
that's what I love, still having the access. And then if I was having a crappy week or something, I could go back and go, or I could look at stuff at 2:00 in the morning when I was still awake,
Right.
So, but, having all this stuff, being able to take the notes, getting the information, having a mentor there, to guide you and, ask, being able to, do some Q&A with you.
Right.
It really is a great setup.
Yeah.
And it really makes it super easy to learn and kind of like, when like the modules come out at like midnight or something on Friday and I'm like 11:30, I'm sitting in my computer. I'm like, come on.
What time is it? What time is it? I love that.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, you get the email that comes.
Oh my God. You're like the best student. Oh my God. So yeah, so you get, so you get the module, you'd watch the video, you take the notes, you'd answer all the questions in the Rizuku classroom, and then you come all prepared to, the 2 hours that you spend with your mentor who go over your chart, but then you also get to sit back and watch everyone else go through their chart. And that's such an invaluable learning tool as well, right?
Well, the universe, synchronicities are amazing, that even if you're sitting there shutting up in the corner, that someone else is going to have something that's similar to you.
Yes.
Spirit is efficient.
Yep.
So you can just kind of sit back there and go, oh yeah, that applies to me too.
Right.
Or when you do go into the next level, because level 1, really just for me, this is all about learning who you are as a person.
Right.
I can't help somebody else until I have my shit together.
Right.
So, that's just how that was my takeaway for this, that this was, of several of the kind of empowering girl power things I've done since I've retired in the last few years, this was probably the absolute most that I can use every day, and that is a constant takeaway.
Right.
That I can constantly use and to co-create, to make a better me, so I can go on and do what I want to do next.
And what is that?
I
Come on.
Dare I say it, I might actually like to do this when I grow up.
You will be an astrologer when you grow up?
So maybe, because I had, when we do have to do the reading at the end of level 2, one of those, it truly was an aha moment. And those aha moments because you can feel it in your gut.
Yep.
And it's amazing. My client is happy. She's boo-hooing. I'm trying not to boo-hoo. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm supposed to be the adult here. Damn it. Okay.
Right.
And it's just, it really brought it full circle to where you start. And even if you don't go past level 1, and you just use it as an amazing tool to garner information about yourself and who you really are and who you may think that you are, but you're afraid to ask and you don't know who to ask. Well, your chart is the answer.
Right.
Your chart is the answer and tells you who you are.
Right.
So, even if you don't want to go to that next level and try and help people, if you don't do anything else but level 1, I highly recommend level 2, because that lets you take the cool shit you learn and put it out into the world, because it is really infectious. Because once I learned this amazing stuff, and I'm like, I kind of want to brainwash my friends and tell them, oh my God, this is why you're like this.
Right.
And I'm like, why should we keep this a secret?
Right. Right. Like being able to really love who you are. That's my favorite thing about this,
Yes.
and really fall in love with your fate, as Debra has always said about this. And this really is it. And that's the way, and to really explain it. So that was my question for you, is like, what would you say to people who are considering, should I do level 1 or not do level 1? And I think you just said it. Like that ability to really know yourself at the deepest level, accept yourself at the deepest level, and then be able to decide if you want to go out and help others. And even if you don't want to go out and help others and go on to level 2 and level 3, the big thing is that you understand yourself so well that you are able to really shine as the best version of yourself.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're the best version of a human being that you can be, that you can't help but that to rub off on people around you.
Right.
And then if somebody asks, well, dude, why did you stop being a jerk, Dana? Why are you a nice person now, or something like that?
Yeah.
It's because I found out who I was, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And, the flip side is when you're kind of being like the crappy versions, the low road versions of this stuff, then, because it's not just, rah, 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 everything's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That when you can see when you're hitting the low road, this is what you do to get out of it. Here are 25 things. What do you like to do?
Right. An air person, there's 25 options, but not everybody has 25 options. Right. That's so true. But that's exactly right. So you can see when you're hitting a snag, you're hitting when you're hitting a wall. I always do this like with a square in your chart, and you're hitting a wall and you're like, okay, now what do I do? And the simplest thing is what you said, with starting with the elements the way we do, and you just go back to, okay, I'm missing water. It means I need to get still. I need to feel my emotions. And I need to really drop into that. And every time that you go back to something like that, right, you have that ability to transcend and get deeper and stop being triggered quite so often or quite so deeply,
Well, or even realize that you're being triggered, because I think that I always say that knowing is half the battle.
Right.
And do a check-in. I don't know. I mean, probably every few months I kind of do the elements test
Yep.
just out of curiosity. Just to see if I've moved something.
Yeah.
I have no water in my chart. No.
Right.
But it's all hidden, because it's all in stupid Scorpio. It's all in the creepy water. I've got creepy water.
Creepy. It's focused. It's a big feeler, and sometimes Scorpios just get annoyed because they have to feel everything.
Yes.
So yeah.
So I mean, I say that in jest.
I know.
But it makes so much of it makes so much sense if you were willing to be open.
Love that. Dana, that was perfect. You did a very good job of being able to explain, of course, with all your air and using your words exactly how it is to come to level 1. Really appreciate you sharing your experience. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you.